Welcome to the Crush Cravings with Confidence podcast. I'm Coach Lisa Callahan, a recovered emotional eater. I ended decades of self-inflicted struggles with food through taking a journey of self-discovery, which revealed the secrets of what was going on underneath the food. Throughout this podcast, we'll explore topics that are rarely talked about, like low self-esteem, lack of confidence, people-pleasing, and decades of self-sabotaging behaviors. Rather than just focusing on the food, we'll dive deeper into aspects of who you are as a person and how you ended up relying on food for comfort to begin with. My mission is simple: to empower women to regain their confidence and prioritize self-love, regardless of the number on the scale. Discover what you've really been craving, and trust me, it's not about the food. This podcast is based on insights shared from the Women's Emotional Eating Community Support Group on Facebook, so be sure to check out the show notes for the link to the group and a complimentary gift just for you. Now, let's dive into today's episode. Hey. All right. Welcome to another fun and insightful episode of the Crush Cravings with Confidence podcast. Today's topic is how to find your happy switch, even if you are still unhappy with your weight. All right, let's dive in. I think that this topic is one that millions of women around the world struggle with every single day. People say to me all the time, but Lisa, I can't be happy as long as I'm at this weight. I just can't. And there, my friend, you will sit right there in the zone of unhappiness. The majority of women that I speak with tell me that their weight is all they can think about. It invades every single cell of their brain space, and it takes away enjoyment from all sorts of daily activities. Think about it. How many times a day does your weight annoy you? Let's go through the day. First, you get out of bed and you notice that your feet hurt and it's difficult for you to walk. And you think to yourself, I really need to lose weight. And then you go into your closet, you put on your clothes, and you reach past 15 pairs of pants that you haven't fit into for years. And as you slip on your stretchy leggings that you wear day after day, you think to yourself, really need to lose some weight. And then you're walking around your house and you feel your thighs rubbing together. And you lean over to put on your shoes and you feel your belly digging into you. And you think, I really need to lose weight. And yet, as unhappy as you are about your weight, you also tell yourself that you're unmotivated, you're lazy, you're too old, you're too far gone, or too busy to do anything about it, which is completely not true because you just spent the last 6 hours watching reruns of The Bachelor, or worse, binge watching the news, thinking about all the horrible things that are going on in the world. Yeah, they're horrible, all right. But it's just that they're not horrible in the world. They're horrible in your world because you're making them horrible by telling yourself that you're unmotivated and you're stressed and you're overwhelmed. My friend, you do not want to be the one thing that's standing in the way of your own happiness. There's a famous quote by Henry Ford that says, whether you think you can or you think you can't, you'll be right. So I'd like to show you today how to find your happy switch, because I don't want you to think that you have to be right about being stuck. Where there's a will, you will find a way. There's nothing that can stop you from enjoying every moment of your life unless you're unaware of this little sneaky voice that can shut off your happiness in an instant. Let me introduce you to Sister Susie. She's this little voice that we all have in the back of our heads, and she speaks to us when we're alone. We call this voice your subconscious mind. The subconscious mind is typically a voice from your past. And in my Crush That Food Thing self-discovery system, where I coach women how to take a journey inward so that they can become aware of themselves and how to have a better relationship with themselves so that they can have a better relationship with food, we call this little voice Sister Susie. Sister Susie is like that, a little annoying sister. She's a little chatterbox, and she thinks she knows everything about you. She's really good at convincing you to do things that make you feel badly about yourself. She's in the back of your mind, and it's her job to remind you of every mistake you've ever made, ever in your life, every person that's ever broken your heart, and every decision that you've ever made where things didn't go as expected. She knows how to make you feel really, really bad about yourself because she thrives on being in survival mode. And she has an insatiable appetite for drama. And not to mention, she also has an insatiable appetite for chocolate and ice cream and pizza and fast food and chips and basically anything that's on your clean eating no list. But trust me, she doesn't care about wanting to eat clean. She doesn't care about you wanting to exercise or get in all your steps or clean your house or anything basically that's going to make you feel motivated and good about yourself. She doesn't want you to feel good about yourself. She just wants you to complain about your life, blame other people or your circumstances for why you feel stuck, and eat all day while telling you that you're too stressed to think clearly and that you just can't handle anything else. Yeah, she is a true misery to be around, which is why it's going to be really important for you to be on the lookout for her. Because, ladies, she's holding the keys to your happiness. But if you don't know how to recognize when she's hijacked your mindset and when she's wanting you to live in a constant, uneasy state of mind, which is like living in dis-ease, as Eckhart Tolle shares with us in his book, The Power of Now, thinking has become a disease. Thinking happens when things get out of balance, which creates a dis-ease. That's spelled DIS-EASE, or in other words, an inability to experience ease, which consequently can create disease like cancer and autoimmune responses. Sister Susie loves disease, which is why she sometimes creates true physical symptoms to remind you of how unsettled you are. So if you don't know how to help her settle down, she will keep you stuck in a vicious cycle of dis-ease forever. And she'll also convince you that you need food to calm yourself down, which is completely untrue. But that's what she wants you to think, because this allows her to grow stronger. So by telling yourself that you're stressed and overwhelmed and that you can't think of anything else to calm yourself down but to sit on the couch with a bunch of your favorite snacks, mindlessly scrolling through social media, you are effectively strengthening the weakest part of yourself. And then when you think you're making these conscious decisions to get a handle on your eating habits and to stay on track, you always end up convincing yourself to do this with a quick weight loss scheme. And then you tell yourself if you could just lose weight, then you'd be happy. Yeah, this is another sneaky trick from Sister Susie. She wants you to think that you're actually doing something good for yourself, which technically you are. But just remember that she doesn't really want you to feel good long term, because if you feel good long term, like she would actually have to be healed, and she doesn't want to be healed. She just wants to pretend that she wants to be healed. This is a trick of your subconscious mind. And that's why understanding like who she is, what she's about, and where she's come from will help you to be able to take time to understand that these quick fixed diet schemes will only last for a few weeks. And then you'll end up telling yourself like, oh, I fell off the wagon, because she's still there in the background saying, okay, you've done really well for a few weeks now. Where do you think that you're going, Missy? Not so fast. It's time for me to feed. And feed she will when she convinces you to order that large pepperoni pizza and eat it in one sitting, making yourself sick, sick to your stomach, sick when you're looking in the mirror, and sick of your life in general because you're thinking like, why does this always happen to me? And this will never stop, because if you don't learn how to become aware of your sneaky subconscious mind and you don't know how to fix the root cause of the problem, Sister Susie will have you going around and round in circles forever. And on some deeper level, you probably know this information already, because let's face it, this isn't your first rodeo. You have been losing and gaining the same 50 pounds for decades now. So past history alone would tell you that losing weight isn't really going to fix the problem, and it's really not going to make you happy. Because if it did, then when you lost weight to begin with, like the first time, then you would have just been okay with it. You wouldn't have kept obsessing about it. And sure, I know that when you lose weight, you feel proud of yourself. you're more confident, you're more comfortable in your skin. But if that was really the keys to your happiness, then like, why doesn't it last? Why do you keep gaining the same weight back over and over again? The answer, because without awareness, you're blocking your own happiness switch. So you're effectively standing in your own way. Let's face it, if you were confident and you were accepting of yourself just as you are right now, and you had peace coming from within, you would know how to be aware of that little chatterbox in the back of your head, and you would be making choices that keep you aligned with things that serve your best interest. You wouldn't be making choices that continue to make you feel horrible about yourself over and over again. And basically, if you were making choices that aligned with your best interest, wouldn't you just start to lose weight naturally? Think about that. Because remember, if you've listened to some past trainings in here, and if you haven't, please, I urge you to go back and like listen to them all. Weight is a symptom of an underlying problem. And the body, given half the chance, will heal itself. So if you felt good about yourself to begin with, if you felt confident and comfortable in your own skin to begin with, then you would start making choices that aligned with things that were meant to serve your best interests. And then your body would have half the chance and you would start losing weight naturally. Period. End of story. Now you might be thinking, Lisa, how could I even think about being confident? My confidence went out the window decades ago because of past traumatic experiences. I can't go back and change those. So now what? Do I just stay stuck forever? And I will say, I hear you. And yet I still want to inspire you to do something about it. While I agree that you cannot change the past, what you can do is broaden your view of the past so that you can experience the same circumstances in your mindset while embracing a new, more mature version of the truth. Because the painful past is not happening right now. You're not a 6-year-old listening to this podcast. You're a grown up, right? You're an adult. But the thing is that even though those situations from the past and those voices that ring as being the truth and all, nothing but the truth, even if they came from the past, and even if you do have a difficult situation going on right now, but you're experiencing the situations going on right now from your past mindset, I would still like for you to be able to operate from your highest self, and you won't be able to as long as you're carrying around those past traumatic experiences with that past traumatic version of yourself still intact. I work with hundreds of women from all over the world who come from all sorts of different backgrounds who have survived tremendous trauma, self included. I've had a lot of stuff happening that shouldn't have happened. Those things came from my childhood. Those things came from decisions that I made when I was young, places where I made mistakes and things that I was like, oh gosh, why did I do that? And so trust me when I say that although I know about these traumatic experiences, I also know that trauma is not meant to be camped out in. It's meant to actually be experienced. It's meant to be used as a point of entry to discover your purpose. I would love to teach you today on this episode how to turn your pain into your purpose and how to turn your struggle into your strength so that you can discover how to turn on your happy switch and how to stop waiting until you lose weight to be happy. Because as long as you're telling yourself that I'll be happy when, you'll be distracting yourself from allowing yourself to be happy now, which again will mean that you are the one thing standing in your own way of your own happiness. And I don't want you to feel like that anymore. I know that there have been hundreds of times in your life where your heart has been broken and where your heart feels like it got ripped out of your chest. And in our Crush Everything self-discovery system, we call this version of you your broken heart island girl. I know that once upon a time, someone told you were fat. Someone told you were ugly. Someone told you that your clothes were unflattering or that you were getting a little pudgy or that, you really shouldn't be reaching for that second piece of cake, Missy, or worse. You were put in an unsafe situation where you were small and really scared. We all have the voices of our past ringing in our head. and memories from our childhood. And most women that I coach can tell you with 100% certainty the exact moment where they felt like their lack of confidence began in themselves. I totally get it. I had those voices in my head too. And I had to decide, and you have this opportunity too, where you want to apply your energy. Do you want to apply it towards growing up or towards staying stuck? Because let me tell you, staying stuck is really hard too. You have to constantly remind yourself of when you felt less than, who treated you badly, the abuse that you had to endure, the hurt that you had to experience when someone who you trusted betrayed you, the embarrassment you felt, the abandonment you had to go through, the sadness that you feel right inside of your heart. It's so real, right? Now you might say, but Lisa, those things really happen and I can't just forget them. To which I will reply, I'm not asking you to forget them. I'm asking you to embrace them, because on the flip side of those horrible memories from your past lives a beautiful, strong, resilient, courageous, motivated, tenacious, magnificent version of yourself. And you know this because you show up in that form for other people. You know that. And the sooner you get to work on allowing that version of you to shine through, the sooner you will allow yourself to stop dimming your own light and your own internal, happiness. You'll allow that to shine through, and you'll allow yourself to be the beautiful, happy version of yourself that you were born to be, because happiness is your birthright, honestly. And then, only then will you be able to turn on your happy switch and stop stealing this light, this life away from yourself. Life gain equals weight loss. Write that down. The sooner you begin to focus on adding value to your life, the closer you will get to permanently releasing the weight that sits so heavily on your mind that it drapes over your body like a heavy, wet blanket. It's time to release yourself from this heavy weight because it's just not serving you anymore. Perhaps once upon a time, it served as a protective barrier between you and the world and the things that were happening in your life that made you feel unsafe at the time. And today, the same behavior is no longer protecting you. It's killing you slowly. Binge eating, lethal doses of sugar and fat, while telling yourself that you're using that as a coping mechanism or that you need sugar to calm yourself down or to feel in control of yourself, is false. Period. It's just not true. And these are the thoughts that you must choose to change because they're coming from an immature version of yourself. The process of releasing old thoughts so that you can make room for new ones is what I call maturing frozen emotions. And I teach this to my students inside of Crush That Food Thing Self-Discovery System coaching program. My students learn how to shift out of the past, and they learn how to find peace within themselves right now, before they ever lose a pound. But consequently, the majority of my students end up releasing 20 to 70 pounds of old baggage off their body simply because they allow themselves the freedom to release past beliefs, to heal frozen emotions, and to give themselves permission to change. Now, I know I've read this in other episodes, so I'm going to read it again because I'm going to read it again and again and again because I really believe in this wholeheartedly. This is a quote from Tim Ferriss's book called Tribe of Mentors. And the quote is by Naval Rakivan. Let me make sure that I said that name correctly. It's Naval Rakivan. I want to make sure that I say it right. He is an Indian American entrepreneur, investor, and author known for his insightful views, startups, investing, and personal development. So he says, and then I quote this, happiness is a choice you develop and happiness is a choice you make and a skill you develop. The mind is just as malleable as the body. We spend so much time and effort trying to change the external world, other people, and our own bodies, all while accepting ourselves the way that we were pre-programmed in our youths. We accept that voice that talks to us in our head all the time as the source of all truth, but all of it's malleable. Every day is new, and memory and identity are burdens from the past that prevent us from living freely in the present. Amen. So, what does this tell you? It tells you that if you do not put in the effort to turn on your own happy switch, nothing, not weight loss, not money, not buying a new house, not moving to a new area, not going on vacation, not getting a master's degree, not getting a divorce, not having your kids grow up, whatever, is ever going to make you feel happiness from the inside out. There's another little quote that you can write down. You will be happy in life, life said, but first, I will make you strong. So I want to leave you with these three things as you begin to figure out how you want to turn on your happy switch, because no one outside of you can turn this on for you. And that is a matter of fact. You are in charge of your own happiness. Anyone can put self-doubt in your head, tell you you're not good enough, tell you you're not pretty enough, you're not smart enough, you're not strong enough, you're not capable enough, whatever. Anybody can tell you you're wrong. Anybody can tell you should do this, you should do that. Anybody can do that. Anybody can put self-doubt in your head, but you're the only one that can accept it. Okay, so 3 suggestions. Some of them are practical, some of them are actionable, some of them are just beliefs. Thing number 1, start to embrace the idea that everything happens for you, not to you. Now, I know, again, that you've come from a traumatic and unimaginable past. Things might have been so hard that you did not know what to do, and yet here you are. You are still here. So this is a really important step towards maturing your frozen emotions, because you're never going to be given more than in life than you can handle. Never. So if you continue to think that things happen to you, it will keep you stuck in a mindset of a victim. Now, I'm not saying that you weren't a victim at one time. It's just that the victim always becomes the bully. So if you're staying in that victim mindset and then you're bullying yourself by telling yourself that these things happened in the past and this is the reason why you're treating yourself so poorly, then you are effectively using your painful past to bully yourself now, and that part is not okay. You must embrace that things happen for you, not to you, so that you can start creating a new belief in your mindset. Thing 2 is when you're struggling with being happy and you're blaming your weight or your looks, you're effectively disconnecting your body from your spiritual self, like your mindset, your wholeness, like who you are as a human being, right? And you were not born to feel that way. So you were born with a purpose, and you might say, well, Lisa, I don't know. I don't have a purpose. Well, that's because you're blocking it, and you might be blocking it with these beliefs in your head that are telling you have to feel that about yourself because you had this painful past. So none of that works. None of it. In the words of Eckhart Tolle, again, from the book, The Power of Now, the body is the spirit. You do not have a soul. You are a soul. You have a body. The body that you are intent on hating so much is merely just a vessel to carry your soul around. It's meant to carry us. So it's going to be really, really important to reconnect your spiritual self, your personal peace, your internal dialogue. It's going to be really important to connect that version of you, that internal peace, with your human body. So this is an exercise that you can practice where you connect with yourself. And this entails looking in the mirror and looking into your eyes. They say that the eyes are the window to your soul. So with this exercise, what you're going to do is you're going to look into your eyes. You're going to look in the mirror. You're going to look at yourself in your eyes, and you're going to smile. That's it. Just smile for 1 minute, 3 times a day. Now, I know this might feel silly at first. You're going to be like, okie dokie, Lisa. But I don't know about you, but my eyes, as soon as I looked in the mirror, darted right to my stomach. And I was like, I hate you, stomach. Consequently, not surprising that with me telling myself I hated my stomach so much and grabbing my stomach and being like, well, this is horrible. Not surprising that I had major digestive issues in my life, to the point where I had 4 colonoscopies from the time I was 16 years old until I was about 37, which right after that, when I was about 40, is when I started to take my journey of self-discovery, and my stomach issues disappeared. So I was giving myself symptoms of disease And I was creating, a situation in my gut that my gut was not safe. I was really, really shocking my body with using my mind to put my stomach down. Every time I looked in the mirror, all I could see was stomach, bleh, yuck, stomach, bleh, yuck. No wonder my stomach, my poor little stomach felt so yuck. I had to start looking in the mirror and connecting with my body, because you cannot hate parts of your body. You cannot do that. Your body is a whole. That is a truth. Your body is one piece, one whole being, right? So this smile exercise will help you connect with your true self, your spiritual self. The third suggestion is limit your use of tracking devices so that you can accept each day as its own and begin to trust yourself to do the right thing. Even if, your Apple Watch doesn't tell you to stand up, that you will intuitively know, I've been sitting for a little while. I will probably want to stand up. So even if you don't have that tracking device telling you what to do, that you will know within yourself what is the right thing for you. So when you start to put down that busyness, that information, and you're not tracking, your sleep and your steps and your calories and your energy level and your heart rate and all that stuff. Now, please, if you have a medical thing and you have to wear a watch to show your EKGs and your heart rate, no problem, right? Do that, but do it for the right reasons. If you're doing that thing because you're like, oh, look at me, I'm so great. I did 10,000 steps today, but then you're also doing these other things that are causing you to feel horrible about yourself, like, sit on the couch and binge eat a bag of chips or whatever while you're watching TV. Like, this means that you're kind of ignoring the real stuff that's going on because you're like, oh, look, I did 10,000 steps today. How great. But then you're also relying on that as a means of telling you whether you did good or bad. Because if you do those 10,000 steps for a week and then suddenly you find yourself sitting and you did 4,000 steps, now you get to tell yourself how bad you are. So we don't want all of that to lead you towards self-sabotaging behavior, because remember, Sister Susie wants you to keep busy. And that's why she sends you on all these little journeys to go do the like quick weight loss things. Well, it's the same thing with those tracking devices. For an average person, like, you don't require that. Just do the right thing. If you're an athlete and if you have like a reason to be tracking all these things, very, very different story. But right now, while you're in this phase of, you want to heal, right? You don't want to use those measures because those are like symbols of self-worth. And in truth, they're being used to just keep you busy and distracted from ever fixing the root cause of the problem. Remember, Sister Susie wants you to stay busy. So again, even if you're religiously tracking your 10,000 steps a day, if you're also telling yourself that you're mentally exhausted and overwhelmed with stress and that you have to use food to calm yourself down, you are impressing no one. Please know that everything that I share is with love and kindness. I have to be honest here because your sneaky subconscious will distract you and she'll tell you that you're doing this while meanwhile you're over here doing that. And we can't do things in that way. Believe me when I say that I stayed stuck in this mindset for so long, not really looking at the root cause of the problem, but just keeping myself busy and distracted with all sorts of things. I've been on probably over like 50 diets in my life. And so if you want to learn more about what I do, how I fix the root cause of my emotional eating habits, how I help hundreds of women now fix the root cause of their emotional eating habits through taking a journey of self-discovery. I want you to know that in the show notes, you're going to see a few links here to help steer you in the right direction, or I should say in the direction towards change. There really is no right and wrong. This is your life. You have to decide what you want to believe about yourself. And if your way's working, great, have at it. But if your way's not working and you're confused about it, then you might want to take an opportunity to experience self-discovery, whether that be through my team membership, coaching with our community, grabbing some of the trainings that we do. So we do have in the show notes this week, there's a free masterclass that you can grab called How to Feel Confident and Comfortable in Your Own Skin. And within that masterclass, you'll also see some other opportunities. We have something called the Confidence Mastery Mini Course. You can grab that with or without a coaching session attached to it. And we also have the Mindset Makeover. Plus, one of the best ways to really, really embrace this is to take a call with me so that we can talk. we can really decide for you, like, what is your first best step. And we can decide if coaching is a best fit for you, or if it's not the best fit for you, I can help you with other sorts of, interests, right? So I coached hundreds of women through my elite coaching program, again, called Crush Everything Self-Discovery System, whereas I help women take a journey of self-discovery. So if you'd like to understand a little bit more about what we do, please send me an email, lisa@coachlisacallahan.com, and just put attention podcast. And that way I'll know that you want to book a call with me. I am so happy to spend time talking to you. I am so happy to help you along your journey. All right, that's all for now. Bye, and I will see you in the next training. Bye for now. All right, my beautiful friend, that brings us to the end of another episode from the Crush Cravings with Confidence podcast. I hope you enjoyed listening today and took something from our conversation that you are going to put into immediate action. I love spending time with you and would be so grateful if you would share this podcast with at least one friend today who you think might be struggling too. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button so that you don't miss out on any other amazing topics. And please, please do leave me a review. It would mean the world to me. Thanks again for listening, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.